Well, staying with the White House, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order targeting the Muslim Brotherhood, a worldwide Islamist political group. The order targets chapters in Lebanon, Egypt, and Jordan, among others, directing U.S. government departments to determine if the chapters are terrorist groups. If the U.S. finds that to be the case, that could lead to sanctions or other measures. Egypt and Jordan have already banned the organization. Well, the Muslim Brotherhood was founded almost 100 years ago in Egypt. Its greatest political success was when its leader, Mohammed Morsi, became president of Egypt in 2012, only to be ousted by the military a year later. The organization has historical connections to Hamas, which started as a Palestinian nationalist offshoot of the group. All right, Daniel Byman is director of the Warfare, Irregular Threats, and Terrorism Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He joins me now for more. Welcome. First question, what is the Muslim Brotherhood for many of our viewers who may not understand what kind of an organization it really is?
So the Muslim Brotherhood is the oldest political Islamist organization in the Arab world. It was founded in Egypt, but it has chapters in almost every Arab country, also some non-Arab Muslim countries, and it favors a role of Islam in political life, and that varies from Islam dominating politics and being the only force in politics to Islam influencing politics, because there's tremendous variation in the Brotherhood by country.
Is this a violent organization or an organization that supports violence in any sense? How would you describe it? So
the Brotherhood varies by country, and as such, sometimes it's violent, as we see in Gaza, where Hamas is a Brotherhood organization and is committed to what it calls resistance, which is using violence against Israel. But in other countries, we've seen the Brotherhood be part of the parliamentary opposition and be very peaceful. So you have almost, I'll say a natural experiment where different government policies in different countries, in some cases, the Brotherhood becomes violent. In other cases, it's a largely peaceful, legitimate organization.
Do you think this is a distinction that's going to be made in any kind of designation by the Trump administration, targeting those chapters which may have connection to violence, or is it going to be a bit more general? What are you seeing in some of the language right now?
I hope they make the distinction, but it's really a question mark. So the good news is the president has asked the State Department to look at individual Brotherhood chapters. So right there, that's a recognition that not all the chapters are the same, that some may be violent while others may not be. However, some of the ones that they're focused on, such as Jordan and Egypt, their role is much more ambiguous there, where certainly you've had individuals who have used violence, and there have been times in history when these groups have embraced violence, but it's not the same as Hamas, where violence is very much front and center of what the organization does.
Can we say what's driving this move by Trump and what's prevented, say, earlier U.S. administrations from labeling the group as a terrorist organization?
So two things are driving the Trump administration. The first is the Israel war in Gaza and the fallout from that, where Hamas's very bloody attack on October 7th and the 2 years of violence that followed led many supporters of Israel to call for designating the Brotherhood a terrorist organization, because the Brotherhood and groups that follow its ideology in states like Turkey and Qatar that also embrace at least some of the Brotherhood, they're often seen as pro-Hamas. So part of it is the Gaza war. But you also have a divide in the Arab world between states like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates on one side, and states like Turkey and Qatar on the other side. And they split over whether to support the Brotherhood and political Islam in general. And the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Egypt are quite close to President Trump. And so we are seeing that mix of motivations driving the administration.
All right, that's Daniel Byman. Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you.